Hello everybody, how you doing? This is Mr. Dowse. This is probably my 5th or 6th video going over the Unit 7 review. I just did problems 23 through 26. I'm now jumping down to 27 and 28. These are the last two problems specifically on special parallelograms. And these problems are fairly tricky here. Now I want you to understand these two problems, you're going to see something like this on the on the test. So you make sure you really understand what's going on here. You're not going to have to draw these out, but you will have to solve the math that's in both of these problems. So it says draw and label the quadrilateral and then find the length of the line segment or segments for each problem. So we start off with a rectangle here, right? So I'm going to draw a rectangle. We know what a rectangle looks like, right? Something kind of like this. And I'll even put the right angles in here because a rectangle is a quadrilateral with all right angles. So kind of getting this rectangle down. Now I'm going to label it A, B, C, D. And if you look at the previous problems, let's say we have 26, we have F, P, K, W, K, F, P, W, K. Notice how the first letter starts in one of these corners, and then it goes in one fluid motion around the shape. Same thing for R, S, T, U. It goes R, S, T, U. So it starts in one corner and it goes one fluid motion all the way around. So I'm going to do the same thing down here. You have to label these a certain way, in a certain order, and if not, you're going to make a mistake. So I like to pick the top left corner, and then I'm just going to go in one fluid motion around it and go A to B to C to D. You could have also started here and gone in the other direction, A, B, C, D, but you want to go in one continuous motion here. Never want to kind of just randomly put them in there. You've got to go in a certain order. So from here, no matter what I do, I'm going to get everything set up properly, right? So AB is going to be 2x plus 5. CD is 5x minus 13. BC is 9y minus 5. And then AD is 6y plus 1. And it's our job to find AD, which is this left side, the 6y plus 1. Then also CD, which is this 5x minus 13. So we start off with a rectangle, and we have sides here. So I'm going to look at the quadrilateral flow chart and see which one of these properties is going to be useful. So this is a rectangle, so I have the 7 properties of parallelograms, 2 properties of rectangles, and I'm looking at sides here. So opposite sides are parallel, not going to help me here. Opposite sides are congruent, ding, 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 that's what we need. So I know that opposite sides are congruent on a rectangle, so those are equal to each other. Same thing for the y values. So I'm just going to start solving this, right? I'm going to set these two together, so are equal to each other. 2x plus 5 equals 5x minus 13. And I'll also do 6y plus 1 equals 9y minus 5. And once we know x, we can plug it back into here to solve for CD. Once we know y, we can plug it back in here to find what AD is. And so that's the trick here. We're just going to set these equal and solve for x, solve for y. So I'm going to take away 2x from both sides here. And I end up with, what, 5 equals 3x minus 13. I'm now going to add 13 to both sides. And I get 18 equals 3x. Divide by 3 here, and I get x is 6. So if I want to find CD, that's going to be 5 times 6 minus 13. Well, that's 30. What's 30 minus 13? That gets us 17. And if you do the same thing up here for AB, you also get 17. So you know that x has to be correct, which is 6. But we also know that CD we found to be 17. So that's half the answer. The other part here is we're going to solve for y, right? So I'm going to subtract 6y from both sides to get y by itself. 1 equals 3y minus 5. And then I'm now going to add 5 to both sides. And I get 6 equals 3y. Now divide by 3 here as well, and I get y is 2. So y is 2. So I need to solve for AD now. So I'm going to take 2 for y and stick it in here. 6 times 2 plus 1. Well, 6 times 2 is 12, plus 1 is 13. If you do the same thing on the other side, you'd also get 13. So I know that y has to be 2, and I know that AD is 13. And that is how you solve this problem. Hopefully that makes sense. Now 28, it's going to be a little bit shorter, but it does involve a rhombus, a different shape. So rhombuses, if you don't remember, they are 4-sided polygons with all congruent sides. It's kind of like a rectangle, not a rectangle, a square kind of leaning over. So But you could draw a square if you wanted to, because a square is a rhombus. So either way, but I like to draw, I'm kind of drawing what I have on the quadrilateral flow chart, basically. So it says GHJK is a rhombus, so I'm going to pick the top left corner to make it G, and I'm just going to go in one fluid motion around this and go G, H, J, and K. And it says if GH is 4x plus 4, so GH is 4x plus 4. And we know HJ is 6x minus 2. It wants us to find the length of HJ. So notice that I've drawn a rectangle, and notice that I drew every side as congruent, because that's what a rhombus is. It's a quadrilateral with all sides congruent. And that basically gives me the property that I need to solve this problem. Since I know these sides are equal to each other, I can set them equal, right? So 4x plus 4 equals 6x minus 2. And then I can solve for x, plug it back in here for HJ, and I can get my answer. I took away 4x from both sides to get x by itself. So 4 equals 2x minus 2. Add 2 to both sides, so I get 6 equals 2x. Divide both sides by 2, and x is 3. So I'm going to stick 3 into x here. So 6 times 3 minus 2. Well, 6 times 3 is 18. 18 minus 2 is 16. I'm pretty sure that's the right answer. But let's double check it by plugging in a 3 here for this x as well. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 plus 4 is also 16. So I know without a doubt that 16 has to be the right answer. So that's the end of this video. I'll make more videos now going over trapezoids and kites. But hopefully this helps you out. If not, come to tutoring. And otherwise, have a good day. Bye-bye.